That's what I'm trying to remind myself of.
Ah,
You need reminding?
what?
I mean, I would like figure out how we got there, but yeah, it's not good. Where we are is not good. I know that we are,
We
Mrs. Q and Elle are alone.
we split the group.
Yep.
Mrs. Q and Al went down to the basement old library.
And the librarian lied to me about the books being reference only.
I love how that's the outrage here. Like that is the
There's no greater sin in this world than a deceitful librarian. Like that is the lowest of the low.
So the two of you guys went down to the lower library.
Yeah.
The rest of us went up to speak to the necromantic professor. I can't remember like what exactly we learned.
So you were talking to a chicken, and he said, I think write some of this down. The book, the necromancy book has been stolen, and it must have been stolen by someone powerful because it has a bunch of spells on it.
Oh, it was in a like almost like safe that was like protected with a lot of intense magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aurora asks about the baguette, the crystal. I mean,
slip of the tongue.
Oops. That's all I wrote down.
It was the soul speaker crystal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
You know.
Beginning of time ancient.
Yeah.
And then while all that is happening in the lower library, I don't believe you necessarily found anything yet, but while looking around, you started being attacked by some type of shadowy
that keeps hiding
figure.
So we can't fight it. And it swiped me on the back, and then it grabbed Elle's arm.
And I believe you.
My strength lowered by 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I sent a message to get help.
Yes.
But you guys are really far away on a floating island, so I'm not quite sure how helpful that will be. We shall see.
All right. In addition to what you learned from Professor Nightseed, you did also learn that something that could drain color from someone, should it be necromantic in origin, likely would not be able to penetrate the defenses of the campus. So you also did learn that whatever it is would have been built on campus. That is something as well.
Not a good enough reason to use the word penetrate.
I was wondering who was going to quote that. You did also learn that if necromantic in origin, a loss of color could mean that part of a soul has been stolen or siphoned, or life force has been siphoned in some way, should it be necromantic in origin. Elle and Mrs. Q in the lower library also found ripped out pages with handwritten notes of almost what looked to be a to find list or to research list. And it seemed to be more or less along the same track as Mrs. Q was looking for earlier when she was in the lower library doing research. As we'll pick up there as Mrs. Q and Elle are fighting this shadowy figure, currently grabbing onto your arm, Elle. You feel the tingling, sending out the owl bear. You feel the tingling in your fingertips that hold the dagger, the immediate chill and weakening of the grip you have on your dagger as the shadow basically sucks some strength out of you. Mrs. Q sending out a call for help to Basil, who, in Professor Nightseed's office in a floating tower at the very top of the avium, that only makes contact with the avium proper once every 10 minutes. Aurora getting her book signed by Professor Nightseed. In your head, Basil, you hear Mrs. Q's voice coming through, asking for help as fast as possible to see if there's a shorter way down. Bring a sweater. Love, Mrs. Q. We will start with Team A.B.A. at the top of the loose initiative for you guys. What do you do?
Listen, it's gonna be forever until we get there, so like we can just chill or take our time, right?
So Basil's just gonna like
Ignore that.
let's picture this, all right? So the professor's like just about to sign Aurora's book. I just like not necessarily like, swat away his hand, but like maybe I just grab his hand. I mean, like I'll just say out loud to the group, like, we need to get down to the lower library immediately. There must be a secret passage or a quicker way to get down there.
But how are we ever gonna get down there?
Looking to the professor. There must be a way that professors get to and fro within the academy quicker.
To the lower library. That's the farthest away.
Our friends are in danger. We need to go there now.
There's no guarantee. There's one way. There's no guarantee though, but it might be able to get you down there faster. It might send you to a completely different area of the school itself. It's kind of a game of chance.
It's not a super. No, go. I was gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
What is this method?
The school was old, and sometimes new doors pop up and things like that. It's a way to vanish yourself from one place and appear another, but the location is by chance. If you get lucky, you might appear in the lower library.
Wait, so this means that there's 3 of us and we have 3 chances, right?
Yep. Yes, we do.
Do we want to split the group again?
Absolutely, we do.
Well, it's the best odds to get there, right? Like if one of us can help.
It's the Monty Hall problem all over again. We might as well maximize our chance to get some help to them.
Wait, are you gonna give us 3 different doors and then we can choose halfway through if we want to switch doors?
No. It's a single door. What?
I'm sorry, I was thinking the Monty Mole problem.
It's a single door. It's just every time you step through it, you don't know where you're going to end up exactly. There's like 4 or 5 locations around the school that you could pop up. It's your best chance, or you have to wait the 10 minutes for the school to connect with the bridge itself.
Basil's going to grab him and panically like, door, where's the door?
Professor Nightseed, who is a she. Professor Nightseed, this like very tall, longed neck Gallus, you are grabbing like their knees to shake them. Kind of like goes to take a step, sort of trips over you, tries to shoo you away. It's down the staircase. It's down the staircase. So just follow me and I'll get you there. As she starts to kind of like waddle very quickly down the staircase, the circular staircase that you traveled up. And as you reach basically it's when you walked up, you noticed that even though there were lights on about halfway up the tower for this, there was absolutely no door that you saw around the middle of the tower. You see Professor Nightsea just have a hand up against the wall as she goes, and halfway around the middle section of the tower, one of the stones indents, and you see a door very much Room of Requirement-esque appear on the wall. As the door appears, we're going to skip down to the lower library. At the top of the order, with Elle, Mrs. Q on deck. So I sent out the owlbear. This is the current... Oh, sorry. Everyone's trying to join and I wasn't paying attention. This is the current situation as you see the shadow that had grabbed onto you, Elle. This vaguely humanoid, faceless shadow with long fingers grabbing onto your hand. You are at the top of the order. What do you do?
Well, first Steph is going to get this map open.
Good first step. I'm going to take a bite.
Yeah, go for it.
I got to try and remember what this thing does.
Nothing. It does absolutely. It gives
rainbows and butterflies is what it
hugging
does.
machine.
No way, friends.
Okay, I'm gonna grab a drink. Oh, take this up.
I love the.
Is it taking a bit to load their stuff?
Well, yeah.
No, I'm good, Sean. Thank
This
you.
episode is not sponsored by A.B.A. Tell. Try it out for yourself, and you'll be quick to switch from A.B.A. Tell.
We'll hop to Mrs. Q then while it loads. Elle, that way it just gives you a chance to load up. So Mrs. Q, you see, we'll still maintain. You see the shadow grabbing hold of Elle. What do you do?
I have a visual on this thing now, right?
It's very wispy. In the darkened library, you do see this vaguely humanoid form that's kind of in these moving wisps almost. It is still there.
Nice.
All right, let me see if I can do this. I don't know if that's this one. I have none of those spells. Okay.
It's a shadow, right? So can you do anything against the shadow? Like light?
Nope.
Okay.
Mrs. Q brandishes her frying pan
Right.
and takes a swing at this shadowy thing, aiming for like the way I imagine it is she like has like the frying pan sideways and is trying to like slice through the arm that's holding on to Elle.
Ooh.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okay.
Am I technically grappled while this thing has my arm?
You are not. It's just flavor.
13. Right.
13. Oh God, how do I use stat blocks again? As you go to swing, Mrs. Q, the shadow itself, being this almost ethereal being, you go to swing and just miss as you catch some of the like smoke almost radiating off it instead. Unfortunately, you do not connect.
Okay. Then as a bonus action, I will attempt. Can I do this? Do I have this spell available right now? Spiritual weapon. I think I can just cast it because I don't think I've used this one before. I think it only does damage if I make an attack that hits.
Yeah, so you can cast it and essentially you have a weapon floating and then as a bonus action. Yeah, when you cast the spell, you can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of the weapon. And then as a bonus action on all of your other turns, you can move and repeat the attack with the spiritual weapon. So.
Okay.
Did you not cast it last session?
No.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't think so. Okay, I do that.
Okay.
How do I actually make the melee?
So you're just going to use your spell attack bonus, so up at the top of your spells tab. But what's the spiritual weapon look like?
A bigger frying pan.
There it is. I wanted nothing more.
Didn't do the trick, but this will.
All right.
Is she building herself a pot set?
Yes.
You know, like
Every old lady's dream.
like Crocodile Dundee, like that is a knife. This is a knife. That's not a pan. This is a pan.
Yeah.
Make
Okay.
your attack, Mrs. Q.
Okay.
Elle, you're on deck.
A 21.
That hits.
Can you let me in the room? I
I'm sorry. I don't have it open.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm just stress eating ice cream.
That's a good idea.
All right, what's the damage there, Mrs. Q?
Damage is.
Good.
Yes.
Plus your spell casting.
Which is 2.
Yeah.
Okay. That's 5 What type of damage is this?
Force.
Force. Okay, that's 5.
All right. As it swings down the bigger frying pan, you do feel it connect. It's almost like splattering, smoke. It kind of like leaks out the side of the fry pan before reforming. Elle are on deck.
So I would have seen this thing make contact, right?
Yes, you did see the spiritual weapon make contact.
That's a big
I have
thing.
no idea if I'm shouting. I probably am.
Elle's gonna kind of shake herself because she feels drained, for lack of better sense, and see that Mrs. Q has brought this guy out. I don't know if we can take him, Mrs. Q. She's gonna shout that, and but she also sees this frying pan, so she thinks Mrs. Q's ready to rumble. So, I wonder if can I do this inside? Is more my question.
Oh. What you doing now? You got 6 seconds.
She's gonna look back at the frying pan, look at this thing, and she's gonna cast Moonbeam.
There it is.
Ooh.
Which I really hope I can do inside. Or it's gonna fuck up the rest of this, whatever library is above us.
Let's read about Moonbeam.
I'm reading right now. It's a beam.
Yeah.
We'll never be invited back. You know.
But it's 120 feet. But it's a 5-foot cylinder. But I don't know how high it goes.
A silvery beam of pale light shines down in a 5-foot radius, 40 feet high.
Just punches through.
So you get the sense that this room is not very high. It's probably around the 15-foot mark, so you might catch something above you. But you cast Moonbeam.
Yep.
Where do you cast it? I guess on the guy.
Right on that fucker's head.
All right. What do I have to do for this?
You have... It's a con save. 13.
It rolls a 13. It just saves.
Oof.
Fuck off.
Still half damage though?
Yeah, still half damage.
Okay, roll that damage.
I don't even have my 10s out.
All right, and this would technically be the start of its turn.
Mhm.
Okay, so your turn was to cast Moonbeam, Elle. This is the start of its turn because this is when it would take the damage.
Okay.
What's the damage there?
5.
5?
Yeah.
As you cast out this radiant moonbeam, you can see it almost sizzling the tree itself. Goodness gracious.
I'm sorry.
And Eric, Jesus, it's chaos tonight.
Loud snacks.
You see it almost sizzle the wood away from the ceiling of the lower library itself. As it comes down on this shadow at the start of this shadow's turn, you swear you almost hear a hissing, Elle, as the moonbeam seems to have done a little bit more than what you thought. But this is now the shadow's turn. And the shadow not being too happy about getting hit, but definitely the moonbeam making it very unhappy. And you being the closest thing to it, it is going to remove its hand from you, Elle, and it is going to just try and rake its claws across your chest in an upswing.
Cool.
But that's only going to be a 9 to hit. it, which I don't think does.
It almost does. It doesn't though.
All right, as the
11.
hissing. All right. As the hissing continues, it's kind of caught off guard, and as you blink to try and avoid it, Mrs. Q and Elle, you see the shadow once more, kind of slinking back towards the bookshelf and disappearing from sight. Team A.B.A, you're standing in front of this door. Professor Knightsey just kind of, good luck. I hope you get to the lower library, but we have no control over this. And if you walk through, you'll appear somewhere else. That's sort of how it works.
So like, will we all walk through the same place, or like, should we wait if we want to like try different?
You can all walk through together if you wish. It's just I don't know where you'll end up. There's 3, 4, 5 different locations you could be.
Can we walk back through afterwards?
Well, anytime you walk through one of these doorways, you'll end up somewhere else. So you might make it back here, or you might go to a different location.
But there's a door where we go to, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we can keep trying.
Essentially, you open and close the same door.
So Basil just pushes us all in.
No, I'm waiting. You guys go first.
No, so Basil just pushes. No.
Hey, if you're gonna resist, strength check and strength check.
Oh my God.
Or we'll make this a grapple, so
Yes.
acrobatics or athletics. Basil, make an athletics check.
I almost want to use a spell here.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Whoa! No one pushes a Winters.
Are you resisting too, Aurora?
I think so.
Athletics or acrobatics?
You know what? Screw it. I'm using it. You see Aurora turn into a ghost.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I can move through things
what's your
now.
roll?
So you push through
Okay.
nothing.
What's your roll?
Probably less.
Don't
What's your roll, Basil?
don't end inside me.
What's your roll, Basil?
13.
Say that again.
13.
13. What's your roll?
Yeah, not that.
All right. Basil, as you go to push, your arm goes right through Aurora as you step through, but Apoc kind of stumbling along the way. You do get carried through this doorway with Basil.
I'm gonna get splinched.
I need one of you to roll me a d6.
Ooh.
You roll.
Don't add anything to it, just roll a d6.
No, this is your problem. You roll.
Yeah,
It's freaking bitter.
A 4.
I hope this works, little boy.
What's that? You push through. This is one of my greatest ideas. You push through, and you and Apoc stumble over the threshold of this door. And you land on your hands and knees on what feels like grass.
Oh, okay.
You look up, kind of looking around, taking in a breath, and you are surrounded in trees of all different kinds. Some you recognize, some you don't. You see the moon above you, not an open night sky, essentially. And you can see little labels and a little path almost winding through these trees and little labels on each trunk.
I turn around. Is there a door?
There is a doorway. It's closed. You don't see Aurora, but there is a doorway very similar, kind of etched into the what you now realize is glass
Okay. I'm gonna go
of
through
one
the
of
door.
the terrariums.
I'm gonna go through the door.
Say that
after-
again.
I'm gonna go through the door after them.
Roll me a d6.
4.
Hope you're happy, Basil.
4. The door opens and you see Aurora fall out.
Oh,
Wait, do we, or are they still invisible?
Aurora, are you still invisible?
No, I'm ghostly. You can see me, but I can move through
Got it.
things.
All right.
I don't know if I can catch you, but just go through me.
You all end up in the same place of one of the floating forest terrariums.
You just wasted 6 seconds.
Elle. Mrs. Q, you're on deck.
Really clever. I like this. This is good.
Okay. I don't know what I can do. I can't cast any spells because Moonbeam is a concentration. I can move it, but if I don't know where it is, I'm just destroying library.
I think you're destroying library regardless.
Where have we
I'm
played this out
destroying
before?
more library.
You smell some burning wood just a little bit.
What would Elle do? Would she care about destroying library?
I think she'd care given that, like, she knows her grandmother's book, while defaced, is still somewhere upstairs. And she does want to go here someday, so she's kind of probably freaking out right now. But she also knows that this thing likes to hide in corners, so she's going to move the beam. Oh. She's gonna move the beam to the other side of the desk. So is that her act? Yeah, that's her action. She's gonna move the beam onto the other side of the desk, and Elle's gonna jump onto the desk for like a little bit of extra height to see the room a bit better.
Okay. All right.
Is the desk the brown thing in front of us?
Yeah, I can move it for you. There you
Okay.
go. Aurora's got it.
Yeah. And then
All right, so the moonbeam
and then
moves.
I'm on the desk, like close to it, hoping that if it comes for me again, it'll at least maybe be in it.
All right. Mrs. Q.
She's gonna say, Mrs. Q, I don't know if we can do this again. Like she's scared. She's scared.
Mrs. Q said, I've been in stickier wickets and I've called our friends. So hold on as long as you can. I'm just gonna hold my spiritual weapon action until I see it again.
All right. So I got a mouthful now. Action held. As once again, you see the shadows kind of start to coalesce as the figure appears on the other side of you, Mrs. Q, trying to get away from melee of both of you. You can go ahead and take your spiritual weapon attack as it kind of reaches its elongated like claws out towards you, Mrs. Q. Go ahead and make your attack.
Yes.
And use a different dice.
That's a 17.
17, that hits, so roll your damage there.
4.
Okay. As it kind of takes the hit, the spiritual weapon slicing through, the elongated claws still coming out towards you, that is going to be a 14 to hit.
Nope.
Once more, missing you. You hear almost a hiss once more as it blends back into the shadow, disappearing from view. A.B.A, what you got? You chuckleheads, you're never going to make it.
I'm going through on my own.
Okay. As Apoc goes through, roll me a d6.
2.
2. Okay.
I'll see you on the other side. First one there wins.
Apoc getting up, opening the door, slamming it closed. You stumble into a hallway. Wooden floor. You're back inside the tree as best you can.
Okay.
Sort of a musty smell around you. And as you look side to side, you recognize the final hallway down to the lower library.
I run downstairs.
Okay, that is your turn. You can make it. What's your movement?
30. Walking.
30. You can make it to basically just outside the slightly cracked open door. hearing some sounds of scuffle, smelling almost a little bit of like burnt kindling from the lower library room. That is your turn. What about you two?
After you, my good sir.
Basil just books it through the door.
Okay, roll me a d6.
Yay.
You know what you need. Come on.
A 6.
A 6. Basil's just gonna like go everywhere. That's really freaking funny.
Taking the scenic route to get there.
All right. Yeah. Alrighty. As you like push through the door once more, Basil, you fall through, and the initial thing that hits your senses is the smell of salt water in the air. As you kind of look around, and it looks like you're standing on a cliff, a lighthouse rising up behind you. The night sky once more over your head, and what looks like an ocean in front of you, as you have gone into the ocean terrarium.
Okay. Interesting.
Can Jervine swim?
I
Okay.
All right, Aurora, where are you going?
5.
Cool.
You know what? One of us getting through a turn is actually pretty good statistically.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's good.
Oh my god, I'm dying of laughter here. Okay.
Oh.
As you push through, Aurora, you stumble and your feet immediately kind of sink into, you're expecting hard ground, and your feet sink a couple inches down as you step onto what looks like a massive sand dune. This night sky above you once more as you find yourself in the desert terrarium.
Oh no. Beetlejuice.
Elle, we're back up to you. My dice gotta start rolling better.
Okay, considering this thing kind of likes to play cat and mouse, Elle's gonna kind of hold the movement of the beam until she sees something, and then she can move it up to 60 feet as part of her action. So she's gonna hold that instead, kind of learning that, okay, I gotta wait and strike once they see it. So she's gonna hold movement of that moonbeam. And she's making a mental note, even if she sees it near Mrs. Q, to not direct the path through Mrs. Q. We're gonna go around Mrs. Q.
Perfect. Lesson learned from last time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mrs. Q, you're up.
Mrs. Q is also going to hold her spiritual weapon and says, "This is a really good tactic. Just keep doing this."
Okay, and just on the desk, just looking around. Yeah.
Worked for you both so far.
Yeah.
Roll me some initiative too, please, Apoc.
Oh, not good.
You'll drop in at the next round.
I'll drop in at the end of the next round.
Okay, great.
That's a 5.
Great. All right, as you are both preparing, Apoc, you hearing this shout, "This is working fine," from the lower library. As this thing is rolling clown shoes for its stealth, Elle, you see it appear coming out of the shadows towards you. You held your action. All right, so you're moving the moonbeam. Oh. You're moving the moonbeam to hit it. Yeah, this is still the start of the turn, so I can give it to you. Con save?
Yeah, 13.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get new dice.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
rolling clown shoes too.
Yeah, no, these dice are great.
I've rolled 2 2s already.
I mean, Basil and Aurora are nowhere.
Actually, 3 2s if you count the d6.
All right, what's your damage there, Elle? We're gonna try this.
Ooh! 16.
16.
Got a 10 and a 6. Aha!
All right, as you kind of carve through with this moonbeam, this thing, like, again, if that hiss gets louder and louder, almost like a tea kettle at this point, as it strikes out once more towards you. That's going to be a 19 to hit, Elle.
Yeah, that hits me.
Alrighty.
But it's kind of comforting because I see the little, like, does anyone remember Fern Gully and Tim Curry, the oil slick? That's what this guy reminds me of.
Oh yeah.
So I'm kind of okay. If he wants to hit me, he can go right ahead.
All right. You take 5 necrotic damage.
Ooh.
And once more, as it slashes, you feel this pulse of the necrotic energy entering you. And your strength score is reduced by...
Fuck. Sorry. By 3.
Strength score is reduced by 3.
Hopefully someone has greater restoration and that this can be reversed, because...
You said you rolled a 5 there, April?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna... Yeah, you got there. So yeah, we're gonna drop you in next round. So right up at the top once more. You two who are still wandering around the school, now separated.
So Basil's
Doesn't
just gonna
matter who goes first.
scream in frustration, and yeah. A 1.
Basil pushing through once more, getting a little frustrated, and you pop out, feeling wood beneath your feet once more, but kind of almost catching yourself as you take one step down and realize you are back in the necromancy tower. Aurora, give me a roll.
I push through the door. Oh, hey, Basil.
I am so happy.
Oh my god.
All right. Elle, we're back to you. Oh, sorry, at the end of its turn, this thing, I forgot. See? Once more, vanishes from sight.
I had been holding my action. Would I have been able to...
So you were holding an attack with your spiritual weapon, and it was not within 5 feet of this thing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, Elle. Mrs. Q, you're on deck.
Again, Elle's gonna hold her action to move the moonbeam, but Mrs. Elle can kind of see that she's a little shaky up there, and her voice is even shaky. Mrs. Q, I don't know how much longer we can do this.
It won't be for much longer. We're doing great.
That's comforting.
So you do hear that coming from the other side of the door.
Hey, Bob!
All right,
Drink some coffee.
Mrs. Q, what you
I'm
got?
so weak.
So I was thinking of... So given that I'm holding my spiritual weapon attack, can I do anything?
So if you're going to hold your spiritual weapon attack, that is your held action. So you
Yeah.
would have a bonus action
Okay.
and your movement. But
Okay.
your spiritual weapon, oh, I don't think it's concentration. actually.
Spiritual, isn't that a bonus action?
It says it's a bonus action, but I'm confused about whether the bonus action is your ability to move it or your ability to attack with it.
I thought it was the movement.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, to attack?
I think so.
As a bonus action on your turn, you can move the weapon up to 20 feet and repeat the attack against a creature within 5
Okay.
feet of it.
Okay, so that is a bonus action. So you could move it with your bonus action. I'll give you back your action if you don't want to hold it. for that. That's fine. And it's not concentration, so you can have this up and still cast another spell, essentially.
But I can't hold another spell.
So this is not concentration. This is up, and it's doing its own thing based on your command. You can cast another spell if you want.
Okay.
That's weird. Yes, you can.
But I can't see this thing, right? It's...
No idea where it is.
Okay, then I'm just gonna have to continue holding. I don't have anything useful.
You can swing at a creature you can't see. It's just with disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. You could swing where it was and hope it's there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Okay, sure. I guess it's worth a try, but that doesn't negate the held spell.
So this would be your move. This would be your action. Or, good God. The spiritual weapon would be your bonus action. So you can move it 20 feet and attack as a bonus action. You still have an action that you can hold if you want.
Okay.
That is confusing.
Yeah,
yes. That's a lot. Sorry.
It's okay. Okay, I will. I don't have anything that has ranged attack. Can I throw my crochet hook? Yes, I can.
You could just hold your.
Well, that's what but if it.
And then send that to just, I don't know, go wild or something.
What? What?
So you're holding your action to do something about melee attack.
Yeah.
But you use your bonus action, you can send your spectral pan to do something.
Yes, but I can't see it right now, so I don't know how useful that would actually be. I'm trying to think what would be the most useful thing to do. I'm hurting my head thinking about
so you can hold your actions still that whenever you see it, if it's in range of you, you can attack it. But you could also.
So I can hold an action even, and then my bonus action is the spiritual weapon.
So your bonus action you'd have to use on your turn. So you'd have to move and use your spiritual weapon on your turn. Your action, if you wanted to throw a crochet hook, for example, you can hold that until you see something, until a trigger.
Okay, we're going to do that. I'm going to ready my crochet hook to throw it. And probably, am I going to move this thing? Okay. Georgina is confused.
Okay.
Now use her spiritual weapon at disadvantage and just whoop something.
Just swing wild.
Just swing at it?
Yeah.
Yes, that could be your bonus action on your turn. So yes, you can absolutely move it and just swing wildly and hope you hit something.
Okay, we're going to do that. And also hold the crochet hook for later.
Great. Okay. Where would you like to move your spiritual weapon?
Where did it, when it sort of slunk away into nothingness, did it slink away in a particular direction?
So it basically materializes up from the floor and then just dematerializes back down into the floor. The room is very low lit with a few sconces, so there is shadow everywhere.
Okay. Mrs. Chu's just gonna move it 5 feet to the left and swing. Because she has no.
Give me an attack roll with disadvantage.
That would be
Seven?
no, a 9. A 9.
Swinging wildly, you don't feel it connect with anything for one reason or another. And then you're holding your crochet hook. Righty.
Sorry, that was so confusing.
No, that was a confusing spell. I didn't realize that either, but thank you for everyone. As you're both kind of chatting with each other, I keep forgetting to advance this. As you're both chatting with each other, Elle kind of swaying back and forth just a little bit, feeling not too great. With a very good stealth roll, you do not see it as it appears behind you, Elle. once more taking a swing at you. You don't see it until it actually makes contact with you, because that was a natural 20 for its stealth roll.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna say, rolling with the 20, that your moonbeam will not move until it takes its attack and you realize that it's there.
If it's a concentration, will I hold the spell?
We'll have to see.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 16 to hit.
Go back to your old
That
dice.
hits.
It's the 3D printed dice, so blame Eric.
Eric!
Garbage damage roll, don't worry.
It's weighted. don't worry.
That is going to be 5 necrotic damage.
Where exactly does behind Elle, like, is it like,
Sorry,
where's the map?
right there.
Conveniently nowhere near Mrs. Q's reach.
I think he's pissed at me, so I think he's just making it for me right now.
The radiant damage is it hurts.
Mhm.
As you feel once more this rake across you, Elle, taking the necrotic damage,
No.
once more feeling the strength zapped from you. Your strength score is reduced by 2. How much
So-
more do you have left for your strength score?
That was gonna be my next question. What happens when it gets to 0?
If you hit 0, you die.
Okay. Guys, I'm gonna die.
Right now?
But you do see
It goes down by 2?
it goes down by 2. Are you still
Okay.
up?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. As it does take this attack, striking at you, feeling the strength go, both of you now see where it is, and you can go ahead and do your held actions here. So, Mrs. Q, I need a ranged weapon attack with your crochet hook. So just whatever your dagger throwing would be. Elle, I guess give me a concentration check. You need to beat a 10.
That's a D20, right?
It's your con save?
Oh,
or
con save.
Con save?
Okay.
Or con
I
save?
think I'm good at these.
I guarantee it.
22 for me.
Okay, so just roll, I believe a dagger is 1d4 plus your strength? Dex? Strength?
Thrown instead.
Thrown
Usually,
dex?
Usually.
1d4 plus your dex.
That's 4 plus 1, so that's 5.
Okay. Throwing this dagger, it kind of like, it hits the shadow but passes through. It doesn't do as much damage as you thought it would, Mrs. Q.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Elle? What's your con?
Dirty 20, so I hold my moonbeam.
You hold your moonbeam, and
Yeah.
you were holding to move it, so go
Yeah.
for it.
It's gonna land right on Tim Curry's head. I can't move it, I don't know why.
Okay, I got it. Or someone's got it. There we go. Oh yeah, it passes its con checks, or constitution saves, so half damage there, Elle. Is it at the start, or when it's in the space? When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there. Okay. So it didn't really would it count as entered? Is that my call?
It's DM's call.
Sure, I'll count it. I'll count it for this round. For this go around until I read more about it, and then I'll figure it out later.
It's only
Okay.
5 damage.
Okay. The hissing is getting louder and louder and louder as it goes. This thing, once more, you can hear the hissing. You can almost see like a lighter colored smoke rippling from the creature itself, Elle being that close to it, as it once more slinks into the floor and vanishes. And as you're moving your moonbeam around, you definitely notice a very noticeable 5-foot cylinder being carved into the ceiling of this library.
Yeah.
Apoc, joining the crew. What are you just outside the door?
I does the door visibly look like it swings inwards or outwards?
It looks like it swings. It looks like it swings outwards.
Damn it. Okay, I'll just nonchalantly pull it open.
Okay.
I kick the door down.
I'm ready. Where's this thing? What's going on?
Apoc enters the scene.
What's happening?
We're being attacked by a shadow monster. It keeps slinking away into nothingness. It's really hard to fight.
DM, I have a question. With
Yes.
every sap of the strength, has Elle's appearance changed? Like her physical appearance?
You definitely feel weaker. So I would say you're probably kind of like lightheaded almost. Kind of like when you stand up and your blood pressure just drops, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you're feeling. I wouldn't say you necessarily look any different.
Okay.
You're pretty scrawny to begin with, but you're definitely swaying on your feet at this point.
But my color has not been sapped like Sage and Apoc.
No, it has not.
Okay.
Good question. Yeah.
All right. Apoc, are you doing anything other than looking confused?
I mean, quick look around. I just see nothing, right? Like I just see an empty room.
Nothing.
It's. You said it's invisible. It's gone.
It keeps appearing and then disappearing.
Okay. Question for the DM, because I don't know how this works.
Correct. I mean, yes.
You're just loaded.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
If you drink a potion that grants you the effect of a spell that would be concentration, can you then cast your own concentration spell as well? Because you're not actually casting the first one?
Yeah, I would say it's different from using an item. You're actually consuming a potion, so you're not really concentrating on channeling an item or anything. So
Okay.
that's probably overpowered, and I'll probably change my mind next campaign, but sure, why not?
Bonus action potion to detect thoughts. I just pound this thing back and start sensing what's in this room.
Interesting. Okay.
Because when you gain the effects of this spell,
What is the detect thoughts? Read me the spell.
okay, let me pull it up. Search. Detect thoughts. When you cast the spell and as your action on each turn, you can focus your mind on any one creature that you can see, yada, 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 yada.
Mm-hmm.
You can also use the spell to detect the presence of thinking creatures you can't see. When you cast the spell, or as an action, you can search for thoughts within 30 feet of you. So when I gain the effects of the spell, taking the potion as a bonus action, I'm hoping I can try and sense it.
Mm-hmm.
It can penetrate barriers, but not 2 feet of rock, 2 inches of metal. You can't detect a creature with an intelligence of less than 3, or one that doesn't speak any language. So those are the contingencies.
One that doesn't speak any language. Okay. All right. That clears that up for me.
Can I sense this thing?
As you kind of drink this potion and try, you sense.
Damn it. Okay. Backup plan. Please, you're ready. And I'm just gonna hold action, parry fire.
Okay, great.
For when this thing appears.
All right.
And I'm gonna position myself because I think Elle looks the weakest, right?
She is shaky. Mrs. Q is bleeding.
Can
Elle
you detect our thoughts?
Surface level. I'm trying to focus on this thing that's elsewhere, so I wouldn't be prodding in your minds. I'm just like alert. I'm gonna say back to back with Elle. because I'm noticing the wounds in her back, and just be ready, kind of holding your back.
Any thought you catch from her, she's terrified. Like she's terrified.
All right, Apoc, back to back with Elle. I'll move you. Are you going to stand up on the bench as well?
Yeah, I'm protecting Elle at this point as best I can.
Okay. So back to back with Elle, preparing. We're going to jump back to the two people still lost in the avium.
So I think we split up, right? Like we got better odds of getting there. A little help is better than no help.
Wait, what? Sorry.
Well, we after you. Go ahead.
5.
Pushing through once more. You being a little gerbine, you feel kind of what Aurora felt before, the sinking of your feet up to your knees, being so short as you enter the desert terrarium.
Just does like in frustration.
Aurora.
3.
Oh my god.
As you push through. As you push through, Aurora, your feet hit wooden stair again. For a moment, you're kind of just wondering, it doesn't look like the necromancy tower you just left. Before you realize you're at the top of the very, very tall staircase, the main staircase of the avium. And the lower library is at the very bottom. So it seems like you have a choice to make. That was your action. You would have a movement and a bonus if you want. Or your next action would have to wait to next turn to go back through the door.
Yeah.
Is there
Bonus.
like a central thing? Like a hole all the way down to the bottom?
Can
We could just throw ourselves off.
No. So the way the avium is built, you have your outer rim of the trunk of the tree, the core of the tree where all of the main library is, the classrooms, and the staircase wraps around the core of the tree.
Would there be like anybody, like, so I'm at the top of the avium. Would there be, like, I know it's like middle of the night. Would there be anybody around?
I'm gonna leave this to a dice roll. People are awake. As you look around, you can see some servitor skeletons. They're a little bit farther down than where you saw last time. And you can hear voices above you. So basically where you saw the diviner, Professor Ravane, you're at that kind of area.
Okay.
You hear voices in the grand, the big open space that goes to the roof of the avium, each of those little outcropped towers. That is like half a flight of stairs above you.
Can I head that direction?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, you can head that direction, and you do see what looks like two students kind of huddled over a textbook.
Yeah, 40 feet of movement, if that means anything. But as I rush over, where are the professors? Where are the professors? I need them now. There's an emergency in the library.
I mean, I don't know. Most of them are asleep right now.
Well, we need to wake them up. This is a class 3 emergency.
Do you know what that means? I don't even know what that means. Look, most of the professors are asleep. Even Professor Ravane went to bed not too long ago.
Where's
and
Professor
he's
Ravane's
usually up.
Where's his office? Where does he sleep?
I'm sleeping. I don't know, man.
I assumed you do. Anyway, all right. At least point me in the right direction to their office.
I don't know. Professor Ravane's office is on one of the floating islands outside.
Okay. I'm gonna blow by them to keep going into the direction where I think there's more voices, maybe above me, and say, "Get down to the library. We need all the help we can get."
Okay. I'm gonna say that's your turn.
Yeah.
As you're running, shouting for help.
Yeah, that's all I want to do is run and shout.
All right. Back up to the top of the order. Elle, Mrs. Q on deck.
Okay. So Apoc and Elle are back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's gonna hold her action to move the moonbeam if she sees this thing, but she's gonna say to Apoc, "If I don't get out of here, can you bring me back to my family by Marshview?" That's all she's gonna say. She's just gonna hold that. She's gonna look at her friends and she's just gonna hold that action.
You're getting out of here, one way or another.
And don't let it hit me again. And she's gonna wait till it comes back.
Okay. Mrs. Q.
Mrs. Q.
I ate a raw onion. Oh my god. Sorry. I ate a raw onion. It's really gross. Go ahead.
Mrs. Q, seeing that Elle is looking rough and hearing what she just said, climbs up onto the other side of the table. So she's flanked on both sides by us. And is there anything in your hands, Elle? Are you holding anything? Like physically holding anything?
I'm holding the spell, but whatever that looks like.
Anything in your hands? Mrs. Q passes her shield to you and tells you to hunker down.
What does the shield give her?
+2 to your armor class.
Were you using your shield?
I was. So I will turn it off for myself.
Okay.
I don't know how to manually change that, so I'm just gonna leave it. So now my armor class is up to 13.
Yep. Yeah, just know that your armor class is 13 as the shield is heavy in your hands, Elle. You are feeling weak.
Yep.
But
Could the
Mrs.
presence-
Q could, like, hunker down, get behind the shield and get behind us, and we will stop it from slashing.
Could we, in this moment, like if I know Mrs. Q is working to protect Elle and I'm trying to protect Elle too, could we position ourselves to give Elle like full cover? Assuming that we take the hits instead.
So you're basically standing on a desk, just like yours, Elle in the middle, and the two of you on either side. I'm gonna say with the room on this desk, there's no way that you can like fully shield her.
Okay.
I mean, it depends where the shadow is choosing to attack from, essentially.
Can I taunt it?
What do you say?
Such a coward, picking on little girls in a school. This is like the most cliched thing to ever happen. A defenseless girl in a library? What are you? A villain in a 16-year-old movie? A movie for 16-year-olds?
What a taunt.
Come at me, bro.
There it is. All right. With that, and another good stealth roll from this shadow when it went to hide at the end of its last turn. You do not see it coming until it is almost like inches from your faces, as it seems to engulf the full area in front of you all, seeing all three of you there. It's going to use its, sensing that it's a little outnumbered now, it's going to use one ability that it hasn't used yet. And as all three of you stare right at it, the hissing getting louder, I need Constitution saving throws from all of you.
What's it thinking?
Nothing.
11.
On save.
I'm loading my stat.
You don't even have your stats.
I was on the other page. I was on detect thoughts.
12.
21.
11, 12, 21. Okay. I need to get more.
No, what? Your dice tower.
No. I have a dice tower?
Yeah, wingspan.
No, that's too pretty for this.
But it's a birdhouse.
As you see this shadow coming out towards you, this immense smoke kind of taking up the space, you feel an immediate sense of dread in your stomachs as there's no face to this creature, there's just this presence as it spreads out. 11, 12, and a 21. Garbage rolls. Garbage damage roll. Mrs. Q and Elle, you take 9 psychic damage.
Whoa.
Apoc, you take half. As it just takes up this whole area. Yeah, that's it. Kind of sending shivers down your spine as you feel your minds almost for a second flash in fear before getting yourself back. And the shadow. Were there any held actions?
I was holding Moonbeam.
How far can you move Moonbeam? Because all three of you are forming a line.
That's going to be my question. If I were to put it around either side of the desk, how much movement would I get? I get 30. No, I get 60 feet.
60 feet? Oh, yeah, you can hit it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to move it around. I'm going to go over. Yeah, I would say I go around the side of Apoc because I don't want to hit the frying pan. But I was also prepared to put it right through the middle of the desk if I needed to.
These rolls are killing me. Okay.
There's also fairy fire held.
Fairy fire held. Okay, so Moonbeam, failed save, roll your damage. Fairy fire.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Dex save.
Which dice to use? They're all bad now. 16.
Yeah, he saves.
Okay.
Damn it.
Give me that damage, Elle.
I got 2 10s, so 20.
Oh! How do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh.
So after this thing just appears in front of her, Elle is. She's only read about villains in her books and has never really faced one before. And despite everything that's happened to her in this room, between her 2 friends, there was no way she was gonna run. So as she moves, actually, she's gonna do something even cooler. She's gonna hold her moonbeam, but she's gonna like push it through the desk while moving backwards so she doesn't hit it, and it's gonna go right into him. It is gonna destroy this fucker's desk, but he doesn't care at this point.
Destroy the desk, the ceiling, and the shadow.
Destroy everything.
But yes, you have successfully taken care of the shadow. Basil and Aurora, where are you at?
I just took off fleeing down the halls, screaming bloody murder, trying to get everybody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
you
see a reason to change that.
Yeah, you see the 2 students that you talked to kind of looking over their shoulders before like packing up their bags and walking down. There doesn't seem to be anybody else answering your call right now. You don't hear any other voices either.
Yeah, I'm just Nicky Nine Door Just hitting every door as I run by, trying to like get attention of somebody.
Right. Basil, you are in the desert terrarium.
Yep, no choice. Just kind of like look at myself, run through the door again.
Come
Please.
on.
Two.
Oh,
Boom. Oh my gosh. That was so frustrating.
That is poetic.
Oh man.
You run through the door, Basil, feet hitting wood once more, recognizing the last hallway to the lower library. As you hear some final, you see like the light of the moonbeam coming from Apoc opened the door. You have a visual on your friends, probably like 40 feet away from you in the lower library.
Hmm.
Um, all right, what do there's no more initiative with the exception of bouncing back and forth from you guys to Aurora, so you want to take a quick 5-minute break and come back? Okay.
My
Alrighty, so as Apoc, Elle, and Mrs. Q catch your breaths in the lower library, Basil joining in, the four of you, will start with you. What would you do? What do you want to do?
So Basil's just gonna like come right in the room being like, Mrs. Q, Mrs. Q. And just like kind of like taking in the room like, is it over? Is everyone okay?
We're okay. Elle had it covered.
Like, yeah.
We're about to rush over to them and just like killing himself inside of him, like, why couldn't I have helped them?
It's okay. Thanks for trying. You were
runs up to the
almost in
group.
time.
What was it?
It was door number 2.
Thank you. Thank you. What was it that attacked you?
Yeah, shadow creature.
Could it have been what attacked Sage?
Elle's gonna kind of shake her head. I don't think so. When it hits you, it just makes you real weak, but you don't change color.
It might have been responsible for the slashes that we saw. Because it was slashing at us. It ripped right through my petticoat.
Looking at that, Basil's gonna be like, "Where's Aurora?"
Segue into as you're running around this top floor, Aurora, you get the sense that there is nobody left here. We are approaching 2 o'clock in the morning. You've got like 5 minutes to 2 a.m. and no one seems to be answering your calls. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the door. I'm not gonna go through. I'm just gonna nudge it open, see what's on the other side, and if it's what I want, I'll go through, and if it's not, I'll let it close. I'll nudge it open again. Does that work?
How it works? We have done this the third time.
I will say, like, if you nudge it open, you do not know what you're entering until you walk through. But in the interest of time, if that's how you're going to go about it, like 2 more tries and you end up in the lower library. I'll give that to you. It was more fun when there was a time crunch.
Yeah.
So Aurora is able to join the rest of you.
Guys, you'll never guess where I went.
Detect thoughts.
It was kind of disappointing.
All right, the 4 of you are together. The smell of singed wood, the path of the moonbeam, very erratically traced around the ceiling. The desk basically split in half, this old wooden desk that's carved out of the tree itself, essentially split in half from the moonbeam that is no longer in existence in this room. You see the torches just gently flickering in a low light, shadows still stretching long on the bookshelves. You are alone as best as you can tell in the lower library, this empty lower library. After finding some ripped out pages in the desk of Professor Mordain. What would you guys like to do?
I think we need to go wake up the dean.
Are there any remains to like investigate?
There are no remains of the shadow, but if you want to do an investigation check, you can. Okay, go ahead, give me an investigation check.
Skills. Ten.
10?
Mm-hmm.
As you go around and kind of just take a look, looking for any remnants of shadows, going in and out of some of the bookcases. You are not in the lower library, I don't think. This is the first time you're seeing it, so you notice the older looking tomes, the mustier smell down here, the study desks that have been shoved to the side. You notice two great big stone golems, stone statues, carved to look like one bird folk and one humble folk just standing up against the wall. With a 10, what you gather is that those are the most interesting things in the room, but you don't see remains of any shadows or anything like that.
Hey, Basil, can you help me for a second? Start pushing the desk just out of the way.
So the desk itself is actually built out of the tree. You can push some study tables around, but the main desk is built out of the tree.
Forget it. I'm just like, while they're doing stuff, you can come back to me later, but I'm going to start setting up a seance in the middle of the room.
Oh, okay. So as Aurora starts to set up a seance, what does everyone else want to do?
I'm curious, like, would we see any indication of like, so say maybe this thing was like summoned in the room. Would there be any like, I don't know, like summoning circles or something that would indicate like where this thing came from?
Make an investigation check.
14.
14. As you kind of join Apoc, looking for something slightly different, although you're not sure, you see like sigils that have been like carved into tables. Looks like almost, at a university desk kind of thing. You get the sense that people have written on these tables that you can't make any sense of it. It's not quite your thing, Basil. But as you sort of look around, with a 14. Yeah, with a 14, the desk itself was pretty much destroyed. But you do notice that all of the pages from the desk itself that haven't been destroyed are kind of scattered around very erratically. And you do notice one corner of one page. You see what you recognize to be the symbol of necromancy stamped into the top. And as you take the page, it looks to be a ripped out page. It is blank. That's what you would find with 14.
So Basil will, well, Aurora's busy doing her thing, so I guess I'll go to Mrs. Q and show her the page. Because you were looking at like, well, Mrs. Q, what do you think about this? And like hands the page to you. That symbol, that looks familiar. Is that a necromantic symbol?
Sorry, I'm just trying to understand. So it was a page with a necromantic symbol on it. But
It was a page that was clearly ripped from a book.
Yeah.
With a symbol on it, a chromatic symbol. The rest of the page is blank though.
Okay. Do I recognize this symbol?
So you would recognize from the students you talked to, everybody having the symbol of their magical school on their uniform, you would recognize this as the symbol of necromancy. And it's almost like it's like if you're flipping a textbook and the textbook has the name of the textbook at the top of every page, kind of in the corner. That's kind of what it is. It looks to be not really handwritten. It's like a stamp almost.
Okay.
So Basil's going to say, strange that a page like this would be blank. You'd assume there'd be writing or something on it. Could it be hidden?
Quite possibly.
Can you do
Mrs. Q at first tries to just like hold it up to one of the lights to see if like it shows anything.
If you
Do you
don't
hold
see
it up to
anything, I can help Mrs. Q if you don't see anything.
Okay. You hold it up to the light to see what you can see. You don't see anything. Holding the parchment between your paper, though, it doesn't feel like new parchment. This feels old. Like it's been sitting in a tome or in a drawer or just out for a while. You don't see anything.
Sure, Elle, give it a go.
Just gonna look at it. So, could I assume it's magical and that we want to get rid of whatever magic's in it? Or do we want to see if it's magical first?
Why don't we skip one step and go straight to the second step?
I was gonna cast a smell of magic on a piece of paper.
Okay. Mouthful of chocolate cake. You tune in and you go ahead and cast Dispel Magic. What does Elle's Dispel Magic look like?
She kind of just like cups her hands around her beak and just like blows on it.
That's really cute. As you do, and as you kind of connect with the paper itself, it feels like something may have been dispelled, but the paper doesn't change.
Interesting.
Oh, someone
It
might have gotten
stays-
here first.
Apoc, Aurora?
I just want to see what you're doing. Just pointing at Aurora.
Okay.
So,
You need a hand?
yeah, but I figured I can get some of the candles set up first, but I will need everybody's assistance. So I'll step outside. Eric is very, very angry, but I don't think Aurora would notice what's going on. As Aurora is currently working on a seance to practice her necromancy, and try and speak to the dead. Knowing that there's this sheet of paper that could have been helpful in said process. Aurora's just like, once you guys are all done, I could use your assistance, at least your fortitude in trying to reach out what happened here. You said it was a shadow, right? A shadowy creature that you've destroyed?
Yeah.
And where exactly did they fall?
I destroyed it over here. No falling. Destroyed.
All right, I'll set up my
Yes.
stuff to center on that space. But that's
Okay.
it for me for now.
Can Elle turn to Mrs. Q and just say, you know how you asked Basil for help? Can you still call the dean? And maybe that owl guy?
I can't use that spell anymore today.
Okay.
But maybe, does anyone else have a sending spell that they could use? Or sending... What else? You know what I could do?
Can we? Oh,
Mrs. Q looks around
for a bug.
for a bug. or just some kind of creature. Like, I don't know, maybe it's really dark down here, like a bat or a mouse or something like that.
But how is that creature supposed to communicate to?
It's an animal messenger. I send it with message. It was just my trick one.
Make an investigation check.
There are fleas around.
There are fleas around. Are they
Can we
magical?
cross the message?
Can
I
we not
don't
just?
know.
Can we not just interrupt Aurora's setting up?
Make an investigation check if you're trying to find a critter.
I mean, they are
Yeah.
a swarm, so
A 5.
DM can decide. They're a swarm.
Your fleas?
They are living fleas. They're not magical per se.
You can use one of Apoc's fleas. That is a sentence and a half there.
We can try that. Okay. How does a flea deliver a message?
Hey, that's on you. That's not on me.
That sounds like the run up to a joke.
Can they fly really fast?
As fast as insects can fly.
All right, excellent. Okay, I guess we can try. Okay, before we do this, few sessions ago, there was like security phones around that I used to call security.
Yes.
Is there no such phone-like device in the lower library?
Not in the lower library. This is the oldest part of the AVM itself. The upper library, where more students hang out kind of unsupervised, but the lower library is never intended to be alone.
Oh, it sure would be a shame if somebody lit it on fire.
I mean, it's been pretty destroyed by Moonbeam. I'm surprised no one can smell it.
It is 2 a.m., guys. It's
Did
2
I
o'clock
know-
in the morning, and you are in a library that is normally locked. There is nobody here.
Wait, when we go to the floor above, is where she burned the image in, the symbol of necromancy?
Could you imagine? That would have been clever.
Is there a security phone on the main level of the library?
So the upper library was like 3/4 of the way up the top, up this. Like you were at the very, very bottom of this tree. You can
Oh.
walk back up the stairs, but it is not close.
Okay, in my head it was like just right underneath. Okay, right, I guess we're going with the flea because that's the best option we have, unless someone else has a better option.
Can we interrupt Aurora?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aurora, take a look at this. You have some knowledge of necromancy.
Oh,
What do you think of the sheet? Think of the sheet.
oh yeah, it's clearly it's protected by a hidden text spell, and whatever was on there has been wiped away. So it's kind of useless at this point.
Like recently wiped away, or
I'm not talented enough yet to know how recent. It could have been years ago. So
it probably was.
yeah, I think so. But can I keep this? Because like the necromancy, this seems to be like there's only one necromancy book in the library, and that was the Necronomicon. So it's probably an important page altogether. I'm gonna hang on to it just for like souvenir, if that's okay.
I mean, the dean might want it back.
Well, it's a
Well, we heard from the professor that that book was missing. With this one page, could we find the rest of the book?
well, if it had any magical links left in it, maybe.
Ah,
We can always try.
I never trust any of Eric's characters. It's just the thing.
I love her.
I'm just telling it like it is. There's nothing untoward here.
Well, if we know that every page in the book has that watermark in the corner.
Let's just keep it for reference. So if we find another page, we can make sure that's the same. Because I'm assuming the symbol's still there, right?
Mm-hmm. The symbol has stayed, yeah.
Okay.
Who is that speller? Like we can find something as long as we know. Like
I'll take if it's okay. I'll take another look. Just like, is there any magic left in it?
You're just vibing with it?
Yeah, sure.
You it looks to be a page. I mean, based on your guess that it may have come from the Necronomicon, you get the sense that maybe there was something important on this page, but it's blank now.
Okay.
But it has been ripped. That's the thing. It has been torn out.
Okay. Well, the text might have been magical, but the paper is not. So that means it would have been made from a magical ink Usually wizards deal in magical inks. So, anyway.
Are you looking for I can help you find magical inks if you're looking for someone with magical inks.
Well, we do know someone that Well, if it comes up.
I think we need to focus here.
What are we doing, guys?
Apparently, we're all just ripping out a page from a book and keeping it. So I count 3 of you guys now.
That's true.
No, Al just stole a whole book.
That's also true.
Yeah.
What are we doing, folks? Aurora, Mrs. Q, you were in the middle of something.
Yes, I'm sending a flea with a
Okay.
message.
What is the flea saying?
Okay. The flea says, this message is from Rosemary.
25 words.
Yes.
Lower library, send help.
Attack in lower library.
Come now.
Come now.
Well, Mrs. Q.
Yeah. And it has 24 hours. And I have to provide a morsel of food. I give this flea a crumb.
All right. The flea the flea sort of buzzes around you as you're saying this out loud, gets distracted by the morsel of food, and as you finish casting the spell, it almost stands to alert and buzzes off. You don't see it moving particularly fast. It's a flea, but your message has been sent.
You imagine the dean was just like the flies flying around his head and just like swats it. You know, like...
I am hoping that doesn't happen. That's kind of why I was hoping for not a flea, but like...
Aurora, how's your seance going?
Well, okay, guys, I need everybody to sit in a circle here around this spot. If you guys want to just humor me for a second, this might not work. I'm new to this whole seance thing. It's always interests me, but to know that something's died here recently, this is a perfect opportunity to try.
Is there any danger of the thing coming back if you do this?
Honestly, I have no clue.
Okay, great.
Do we have to touch your giant crystal to do this?
You don't have to touch it, but it is going to be involved.
Okay.
Like, you could all sit around in a circle, look at me while I'm holding this crystal. but I don't know if that's better.
Keep it down.
What I'd like to do is, for DM's purpose, I'd like to try to attempt a seance in order to pull whatever creature was here back so I can cast Speak with Dead on it.
Okay. Is there a specific...
No, I'm completely bullshitting and making all this up.
Oh, great. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I do love it. I mean...
The Speak with Dead, I have the spell, so the seance is completely like, let's see if it might not even work at all. But I'm hoping with my friend's help that I can do something.
Just checking one thing because I love it.
It seems like something Aurora would try.
Okay. Okay, yeah. This is fun. This is how, okay. You set up the seance. I would just like you to make me a religion check.
Okay, 21.
Okay.
18 plus 3.
As you start this seance and just channeling through the crystal that you have, the lights in the library, dim as they are, get just a little bit dimmer as shadow kind of starts to creep up all of your backs. A few of you less inclined, Elle and Mrs. Q especially, having a close encounter, you feel a shiver kind of involved, I guess. You feel a shiver involuntarily kind of creep around or up your spine as you shake, check over your shoulder. But kind of stay put as Aurora, eyes closed, just starts to sway, muttering under her breath. With a 21, Aurora, from everything you've heard and sort of channeling into the remnants of the energy here, the necromantic page, you get the sense that there is a faint aura of undead around the area in the lower library itself. Faint, but not old. And as you try to kind of push a little bit farther past that aura, you do get a sense of there almost being a living connection, if that makes sense.
All right.
Between the undead. Sorry?
All right. I think this is the chance. Everybody gets to ask one question to it. Be very cautious with what you want to ask, but take turns. Maybe those who are here that fought them can go first because they might have a better idea of what to ask.
You can feel the aura just start to sort of wiggle, shivering almost. None of you see anything. You more just hear Aurora guiding you through.
The presence is here. Through it, it speaks. What questions do we have? The information.
Who do you serve? Who do you serve?
In true seance form, I'm going to text you, Eric,
Ooh.
the answer to the question, as you are the medium here. Okay. Who do you serve is the question?
This
If you spell seance.
Yeah.
SEAANC, I think.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
SEANSE.
SEANCE. Sean S.
It's very unnerving writing that out.
All right. Almost involuntarily, you hear, "I was summoned into being. My form comes from the small one." What?
From the what?
From the small one. I won't repeat it again.
My form comes from the small one.
What was the first part? I got a little cracky on this.
I'm sorry. I was summoned into being. My form comes from the small one.
I was summoned to what?
Into being.
Into being. Okay, thank you.
Small one.
A couple more questions.
I just had literally a flashback to the Speak with Dead from the D&D movie there for a hot second, though. I'm sorry.
That's
Okay,
the
go ahead.
first thing I thought of. I'm like, someone's gonna be like, so I only get one question?
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mrs. Q.
Who summoned you? Did you?
The
Was
small
that the
one.
same question? The
Yeah.
small one. Like, who is the small? Okay, who is the small one? I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this.
What was the question?
Who is the small one?
Because it could either be in this group me or Sage.
Why would you summon it?
No,
I
but
feel like you'd remember.
it's saying that it is.
It was summoned
There's
by
a-
the small one.
It was summoned, and it's like attached to the small one.
Okay, well, this is what that's why I was who summoned you was my initial question.
Ooh. The small one in the room. The first one to walk through the door.
Oh shoot! Sir Basil's just gonna like start panicking. What?
But
How?
you weren't the. Were you?
But
Are so? But who was the first one to walk in? Me or Mrs. Q?
Wait, this. Okay, that's true.
Because we were in the room first.
Okay. But technically, Elle isn't like the small one.
Who's taller?
I guess not. I mean,
Elle's
I am taller.
Yeah. I'm the small one in the group. I technically went
We
through.
really decided.
I like we're fighting over who's the small one.
Freaking dying over here. Okay.
Okay, well let's just assume, like, so out of
It's someone here. Yeah.
yeah,
I was summoned by the small one.
the first one to enter in the room.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't say it was summoned by. The form comes from the small one.
Okay.
Is there a distinction between the summoner and how the form was taken? This is my question to the thing. I'm just kind of.
Oh, is it your question or no?
No. It's not. It's not.
I am being very lenient here. Whoever says a question,
I
that's
know.
the one I'm answering.
Whoever.
Are we holding hands? And you're just going like this?
No, Elle was very specific. She did not want to touch.
Yeah, whoever is going to be asking the next question, I think we need to ask a very pointed question.
So what is that question? I can't hold this forever.
You get 3 more questions.
So, we know that it was summoned. We know that its form is attached to someone in this room.
First person to enter the room. Perhaps we.
Who was
can
the
ask-
first person to enter?
Gosh, they're on track. Stay.
Could we ask it about? Nope, I can't say it as a question. We should ask it about the person who created it. Maybe that will help us figure that out. Because that's different from summoning, right?
What is your purpose? What do you protect? It's all in one sentence.
Comma.
Comma. This is a
Comma.
two-parter.
Tell us your life story.
Or we could just do what is your purpose if that's. What? To see Uncle John. Okay, we'll say hi to Sean. No, not yet. There, no. Almost coming.
No. Hello.
Hi, Chris.
We're gonna go see Uncle John.
Tell him we say hi. It's been a while.
Okay. They say hi. Hi. Yeah.
All right. Ooh. I guard the master's secrets from prying eyes. All right, Basil, your turn for a question.
You can ask one too, Aurora. You don't have to just
Alright.
be the medium.
I've got my question.
I'm just making sure.
What was on that page?
Oh, now Basil's whispering. He doesn't want me to hear.
Whose office is this? Just
So you were in the lower library, and
Yeah.
the librarian is, well, you never met him.
no. I'm asking the group whose office is.
He's a big owl.
Gabora.
I don't think
Okay.
Elle would have met him either. I think it was just Aurora.
No,
and
she
Mrs.
didn't.
Yeah.
Basil
Okay.
is going to ask, where is the master? Should have asked the other one.
It's just a rephrasing of the same question.
No, because they can
Below.
What?
Below?
Below. And then I'm going to go ask, what can I do to help you rest in peace finally?
He's thinking like, what? How much should I give them?
Ooh. That I'm going to save just for me.
Oh, boo!
I will do my best, friend. Thank you for your help. And
You will do your best friend?
the candles go out in a all snuffed out as I go collect them. Wow, I can't believe that worked. Thank you guys so much. That's been an experience for me, at least a personal goal that I never thought would be possible. And just thankful you guys you weren't too judgmental and kind of played along. So thank you. As I pick up my stuff.
What was the answer to the last question?
Says
Mr. Q.
It's like a wish. If I say it out loud, it won't come true.
Can I do a check on that?
Make an insight check. Aurora, take inspiration for that, because I really liked the idea of the seance. That was awesome. And then persuasion or deception, whatever your choice.
Deception 24.
I have no idea.
Seems to be pretty honest. Like a wish.
So how are we gonna get below?
Yeah. Is there another lower level to the academy? Below this though?
Would Mrs. Q sort of like takes a look around the room? Are there any like old maps of the avium on the wall, or any like a map section where I might be able to find like a old blueprint of the school?
Yeah, make an investigation check. Apoc, did you want to do anything?
17.
Yeah, Apoc, just in the answers to the question, Apoc's just thinking if there's any like, I don't know, ancient evils that he knows of that might be like reference to his being from below, like greater threats.
You can make either a history or an arcana check.
I was hoping for religion.
Sure, religion would work.
Yeah.
I'd put that. What was your investigation, Mrs. Q?
17.
17. We'll do these in order here. As you just start to kind of putter around and look around, you find yourself distracted by the tomes on the shelves of the lower library. And while you don't actually see any blueprints or framed map of the avium itself, you do see a book. The Avium, A History. And as you pull it from the shelf and start flipping through, you find that the avium, first and foremost, is incredibly old. Some of the first known, like, druidic groups had carved the avium out of an old petrified tree that had been struck by lightning. And you do find some original notes and scrawls and sketches would be a better word other than blueprints of lower levels below this library that never seemed to actually be put to use.
I'm curious if so wherever the moonbeam hit on the floor, would there be like
gone up?
oh
I think.
okay, never mind.
I think so, yeah.
It wouldn't be like the floor is weakened where it was, I think.
I don't know.
What? Not so much the floor as it came from the ceiling, Basil, but Mrs. Q, the other thing that you do see in the books themselves, because you did roll a 17, you see sketches of the layout of the lower library itself, and you see sketches of the statues, the golems, the one humble folk and the one bird folk, that seem to be kind of repeated through each of the drawings, even the drawings of the levels below. 10 for your religion. There are a lot of evils below. You did research on fiends not too long, well, a couple hours ago, actually, although it's felt like an eternity ago. And I mean, below the material plane, you get to the abyss and the Underdark and the Shadowfell and the Nine Hells. There are a lot of evils below.
No, like big names that I remember, or aliases that I've read about.
Not so much aliases, but you do remember, I might have to look it up and get back to you.
Okay.
But you do remember the names of some of the more prominent demon princes and names that have really just been hidden in humble folk lore, kept at bay from the power of the Amaranthine. But they are terrifying to remember. But you did find it in your research not too long ago. I'll just have to let you know.
All good.
So are we like sure it's from like a lower plane and not like a basement?
Could be either.
Should we at least check the basement?
Yeah, probably. That makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Elle, how are you doing? You look rough.
I think I very nearly died.
Well, don't be afraid of death. That's just a chance at a new beginning, but we want to keep you here as long as we can because you're awesome.
I'm only 12. I'm afraid of a lot of things.
I don't know how to respond to that. Well, as you get older, you'll learn to deal with fear and cope and become jaded like the rest of us.
I don't know.
Yikes.
If life has taught me anything, is that you can cheat death at least once.
Yeah, but I think if I run into one of those things again and it hits me one more time, I don't even think I get a chance to cheat death.
We'll just throw you in some salt, and it's gonna be okay.
What?
What?
Story then.
Yeah, when Cam died, we just put him in a big container of salt and then used magic to bring him back.
200 pounds of salt.
Magic doesn't solve everything.
I want to watch it again sometime.
Yeah.
Mrs. Q says, I think I might benefit from some level of break before we go on, and I do think that we shouldn't move forward until we've heard back from the dean. And I don't want to put Elle in any more danger given her current state. So, but I communicate with the group what I saw in this giant book that I found called The A.B.A. History. There are lower levels, and these two statues seem to be consistent in all of the sketches of the lower levels, blah, blah, blah. And I show them the pictures.
I rip out a page.
What did you say?
We need a map. Now we have one.
Take the book. We don't need to rip out the page.
You have to the whole book.
What's wrong, guys?
You got a page. She got a page. She got a book.
We got a book.
Started in chaos and it's ending in chaos. All right. What is the plan here, folks?
I mean,
Do we
I would
need...
love to investigate the statues, but
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
I mean,
Take control.
Okay, Mrs. Q is waiting
Who's the ringleader here?
for security while that's happening. I picture it like Indiana Jones, like Temple of Doom situation, where like he's going up to like those, like the fireplace, and he's like looking at the statues. Maybe he's like checking if there's like a draft coming from one or something, like touching and feeling them. Just
All right.
investigate.
As you do, just make me an investigation check, Basil.
Could I assist? Like, could I help out?
Yeah.
Take advantage.
Okay.
Now that we have a map.
I rip out a page. That was good.
So that's a 17.
As you go and you start to investigate these two statues, they're kind of flanking an archway to a second part of the lower library. As you flank the bird folk one, and just start to look around, looking at the details, Apoc sort of helping you track some interesting features, your hand kind of glides over a cavity. And as you kind of like...
Oh.
It's just a little like depression in the stonework, Steph. Leave it alone.
Okay.
I get it.
Even my height would be a very low cavity. Like, whoa, wait a second.
You touch your hand to it and it presses. You see the like robes that this bird folk is wearing. A doorway just kind of pushes inwards, almost materializing into place. It's almost like you blink and a doorway just sort of stretches out along the robes of this bird folk. And it does match the location on your map.
Everyone, come here, quick.
Do we want to rest first?
Yeah, guys, like, man.
Are we resting?
You said you wanted to wait for the dean. We found the entranceway, so we could wait for the dean. Short rest it.
We close the door and then rest, and then maybe open it next time.
Yeah, it's about to move his hand from the cavity.
Chaotic. Absolutely chaotic. All right. You're able to close the door once more by pressing on that cavity again. It's almost tucked into like the folds of the robe. But you're able to close the doorway now knowing where it is. As you all sit down for a short rest of an hour, which takes you to 3 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. Elle, you do start to feel a bit better as you can feel your strength returning to you over the hour. Any change to your strength score is fully back to normal.
Oh,
I
thank
need
God.
a Constitution saving throw from everyone as we approach 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
But hit points, this is only one hit die, right? For 1 hour?
You can roll however many hit die you have left if you're going to gain back hit points.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
You only get half of them back on a long rest.
Mm-hmm.
Right, half of your hit die back. Oh yeah, I remember. That was brutal.
It's the most annoying rule. I hate it so much.
After going through the estate, it took me like 4 sessions or like 4 days worth to get my my stuff back.
I rolled a
That
12.
sucked.
I rolled a 12.
12.
18.
Okay.
What?
You didn't roll.
I know. Why didn't it roll it?
I think because you needed to hit the. You just didn't. You just didn't do it properly.
Oh, I see.
Hold on. Can you take it out?
What's happening? Whoa.
So
No, it's got angry at me
so
now.
it's 3d8 plus 3.
I
Yeah,
healed
okay.
13, and my strength goes back to its original.
It goes back to normal. Yes.
Okay.
It took a short rest to undo
Oof.
that damage
That's nice.
I was
for
only
this
at 3.
particular creature.
Yeah, I was at 3 strength, guys. If he had another critical on me, I think I just flat out die. I don't think I get saves. I don't think I got any.
Yeah.
Nope.
Woot! All right, I'm not so weak anymore.
Is there any way to get spells back on a short rest?
Long rest. So as a cleric, you get your spells back on a long rest. So nothing on a short rest.
Yeah, I'm.
Yeah.
How are you? Can I ask Mrs. Q? Are you still really full of spells? Cause I'm not.
Nope. I have 4 spells left of the lowest variety.
Yeah, me too.
So after taking your short rest, I need Constitution saving throws from everyone. So there was a 12 from Aurora, 18 from you.
8 for me.
14.
Anyone who rolled less than a 12, so Aurora, you just make it, takes a level of exhaustion.
Is there a way to put that into D&D Beyond, or do I just need to?
Conditions.
So under your conditions, there's an exhaustion meter.
What is 2?
2 is half speed.
Oof.
So Elle's not weak anymore, but boy oh boy is she tired.
Who else has a level? I'm just curious. I'm not. Am I the only one?
Mrs. Q has a level now,
Okay.
but I think Aurora, Basil, and Apoc are. Well, A.B.A is okay.
Because we did nothing.
You didn't hear our SOS.
Lol.
Nobody? Okay.
Yes.
Sending out an SOS.
No.
Oh, Eric.
I immediately went to the Rihanna song. I don't know about you guys.
What? No, you guys need to watch Mamma Mia again.
It's the worst.
I don't think I do.
Except you have to listen to Pierce Brosnan sing that
I don't-
song.
I
It's
don't
not
think
That
great.
is the downside.
That's not great.
Good God. I like how you said again, which implies that we watched it the first time. 'cause I
You
definitely
haven't seen it?
Not seen them?
Wow.
Oh, it's so fun though. Who doesn't
I will
want to
take
see
your word for it.
fun?
Did you know ABBA won Eurovision?
It's true.
Anyways.
Also a great movie. Eurovision. I love that movie.
I enjoyed it.
Anyway.
All right, that's it. Session's over. As you approach 3 o'clock in the morning, getting more and more exhausted in this lower library, we will end the session there on a Eurovision.
One quick question. Do we know if the flea was successful?
Andrea will figure that out for next time.
Okay.
And how many levels did we gain?